Morning everyone, NWA Prepper here. This is a video I'm doing for Patreon and YouTube. I don't do many of those. So this morning, I want to talk about my opinions on scheduling. And I guess, and there's two prongs, scheduling or patterns, and then the need for there to be a lack of them. It's the same. The same talk. So, the need for you to have a pattern is important because your body needs patterns. And what I mean by that is, I feel, and this is totally something in my head, but I feel that you need to be consistent in things such as when you wake up. And the reason I feel that is when people wake up at the same time for work every day, their body gets set, gets an internal clock that's ready for, we're going to wake up every day at this time. And it does. So even when, after you've been doing it a while, even when you're not supposed to wake up, you don't have to wake up, but you choose to wake up, when that happens, then your body wakes you up at that time anyway. I mean, you wake up. That's all there is to it. And so with that being said, with me feeling that that's important, then it's important that you go to sleep at the same time to keep that rhythm. Now, there are exceptions. There are times that you can't. There are times that there are things going on that you have to stay up, or there are times that you decide to go to bed a little bit early. That is one of the things I think is important, that your body will get the best rest when it knows, okay, this is about time to shut down. We teach that to our kids. We're like, okay, 8 o'clock's bedtime, or 8:30, or whatever bedtime was in your household. And so I think that works. It works well for me, with some few exceptions. There are times, and I'm yawning, there are times that when I go to go do something that I'm up a little bit later than I normally am, then my body starts to get fatigued and let me know, oh, hey, it's time to go to bed. And so I have to get through that, and I have to get to my second wind. And then once I do, I can function just fine. I just think it's the best for your body to know that you're not going to be out and about at crazy times, to not allow a sleeping pattern. I also think that you shouldn't, this is the other side of the coin, you shouldn't have patterns with what you do. If you can drive to work different ways, if you can have a little bit different routine during the day, I think that's important. To the point, even if there are some things that I can do with my right hand that I can't do with my left very well, to try to practice to do them with my left or my right, to throw off or to focus, to concentrate more, because I think it exercises your brain. Not having patterns during the day is something that a skill, or I don't know if it's a skill, but it's something I've acquired through being in law enforcement. Is you don't want to be in the same spot every day. Of course, I don't run traffic very often at all, so I don't do a lot of sitting. But for me, it's a patrol, like patrol neighborhood things. And so I don't patrol the same neighborhoods in the same direction at the same time, in the same order. You know, I break things up. I change things up a little bit each time that I go through a neighborhood. And I make a point of it. I go out of my way to make sure I don't. Because I don't want to be predictable in that aspect. And that, some of you, that's a poor example, but it's the same as if you've got, you know, a chore routine. You wake up and you go feed the chickens, and then you go check on the cows, and then you go here and you feed the dogs and you walk, you know. If you do that same pattern, that same rotation every day, if somebody is observing your homestead or your property with nefarious ideas, that's the word for the day, by the way. If they're watching your house with bad ideas or bad intentions, then if you're predictable, they're going to know, okay, he goes from, you know, from over here turning on the water for the cows to he goes into that chicken coop, and while he's in that chicken coop, it takes, you know, 2 minutes, and while he's in there, he can't see crap. You know, he can't, there's nothing he can do. I could be right up there, right at the door and in the door, and then he's trapped in the chicken coop. Or whatever. I'm trying to think like a bad guy, and I can't always. We're all capable of it. I just currently am not in that mindset. So you don't want to be in those patterns. I know a lot of people like the patterns, and I'm guilty of it as well. I like on Tuesdays at lunch, we go in the same restaurant about the same time. You know, we walk in and they bring me, you know, they bring us the same glass of water and a glass of tea. I like that aspect as much as anybody does. But that consistency, that pattern in an emergency or in times of crisis, those patterns are dangerous. Think about it as you're moving around in your daily life. That, do I drive to work? Do I stop at the same coffee shop every morning at 7:15? Do I do this every morning? You know, don't be any more consistent than you have to be. Now, sometimes there's only one way for you to drive to work. I totally understand that. You've got to drive that way. There's only one place for you to get fuel, or there's only one coffee shop between you and work. So change it up by times. Go a little bit earlier sometimes. Push it a little bit later sometimes. Don't stop for coffee every day. Keep your mind moving as to how not to do those patterns. Not in being fearful for everyday life, but even just think of it as brain exercises to keep your mind from getting in a rut. To get it where every day there might be something new for you to see or observe. And I just think some patterns are good, but many are bad. So I guess it turned into a ramble. I want you guys to be safe, and I want you to be safe today, and I want you to be safe tomorrow. And so the little things today, like having a pattern of doing your chores around the house or your time schedules, don't seem like an issue now. But if somebody is watching you, which can very well happen today, with the intent of theft or doing harm to you or your family, those patterns can be a bad thing. And I don't want you to be the easy targets. I want you to be the challenging targets that they choose to move on. Thanks for watching, everybody. You guys really do make the difference I appreciate you all.